And congratulations on your new movie, Nora.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, what a whirlwind.
You know what? It's also very exciting the fact that you're going to have your world premiere at Cinequest this year, which is one of the most prestigious film festivals around the world. How do you feel about that?
I mean, for a first-time filmmaker to make it onto a big stage is always, I mean, it's a huge honor and, makes all of the work it takes to get to that point. So very, very worth it.
Certainly is, and the audiences will have a chance to watch it. But let's hear from you first, is where the original idea came from for Nora.
Yeah. So Nora really, it's a very personal story. I mean, a highly fictionalized account of sort of my sense of self-returning. I left Los Angeles, where I'd been for 20 years pursuing an acting career in the middle of the pandemic, and moved back home to Portland, Oregon, where I'd grown up, to focus on my kids and to make a better life for them. But I felt as I was driving away that all my dreams were being left behind. And that's where the movie absolutely came from. So fighting that sense of need for your own dreams in life to continue while you're also being the best mom you can be.
Now, one of the things that's is very difficult is directing by itself, but you're directing and starring your own film. Tell us about the challenges and the decisions of doing that for yourself.
Yes, we always say in filmmaking, right, that if you knew how much work it was going to be, you probably wouldn't sign up to do it in the first place, right? And that was definitely true here. I came to directing obviously a little bit later. I thought that I was going to be an actor for my entire career, and I love the craft of acting so much. But one of the reasons I decided to try my hand at directing was because I had a story that I desperately wanted to tell, first of all. And I had spent a lot of time working with actors and understand and teaching them how to craft and understand story. So when it was my turn to turn the camera around on myself, and it turned out I was pretty quick at being able to watch down the take and know in my head what I would need in the edit room and know what I needed to tell the story that I was so excited to tell. So although it takes a tiny bit longer on set to be able to watch a take or two, strangely for me, because I'd had experience really heavily working with actors on auditions and getting them prepared, I think it came a little bit more easily to me than it might have to other people. And I love working with a crew. I love, love, love bringing everybody's ideas together and helping craft the best one and bringing the best art to the surface. So I was, it's very clear to me that I was meant to be directing at some point in my career.
Now, getting into the character of Nora, obviously you relate to it because it is your story. But tell us about getting to that mental capacity of Nora.
Yeah. So, early parenting is very much an exercise in giving up a piece of yourself for somebody else's well-being. And at some point, you sort of come to and realize that there's a large part of yourself that's been left behind. And I say this being very careful because I find the whole process very beautiful and very inspiring. I've always wanted to be a mom, and my kids are amazing and an inspiration every single day. But that waking up one moment and realizing I needed a little piece more, and realizing that unless I followed my dreams, I wasn't really going to be teaching them to follow theirs. So the character is a fictionalized version of me. Obviously, my focus was always acting, and the focus of the character Nora is as a singer-songwriter. But music for me has always been a huge emotional component of my life, and to be able to pull that in as a way to express what I was feeling deep inside was super exciting.
Now, are you a musician yourself, besides acting?
I like to absolutely say no. I sing, and that was always a part of my life. But it had really fallen by the wayside. So my amazing friend Noah Harmon wrote the music for the film and helped me really craft these songs. I would never have been able to do it on my own. That's not my skill set. But when you bring in the people you love to work on the thing that you're passionate about, sometimes something beautiful can happen, and I really feel excited about that here. I do sing on the album, and we helped work on the songs, especially the lyrics was my particular passion point, having written the script as well.
Was that a challenge for you, the singing part? Because I know you performed almost all the songs here.
I did, yeah. So my voice is on, I believe, every single one of the songs, with amazing performances by Nick Fink and by our amazing other performers. But yes, it was a huge challenge. I did a lot of musical theater and quartets and choirs in high school, but then it fell off for me by the time I got to college. My voice changed in the middle of my freshman year of college, and little known fact that I wish someone had told me at the time, but women's voices do change a little bit too. Not the same with the sort of dramatic component that men's voices can change, but I lost a lot of high range that I had been really comfortable in. And so I decided it just wasn't my thing anymore. So when I came back to this, it was literally me finding my voice, both in a singing capacity and as a storyteller. So it was pretty magical. And Noah was so patient with me as we did our demo tracks and then recorded the songs, and really insisting that I find a truth to it. And it sounds so silly, but coming down to practicing enough that I was comfortable being prepared to perform them as true performance pieces. So yeah.
Now, working with the songwriter Noah, right?
Yes.
Did you basically assign certain songs, trying to craft it with the story?
Yes, the script was written with lyrics that are not very close to the lyrics that are there now, but every single one of the songs, I mean, it has a definite musical theater component to it, right? Although in the film, the songs turn into dramatic music videos, so it's not a traditional musical in any sense. Um, the excitement of knowing that they were still going to be standalone pieces by themselves, and there is a full music video for every single one of the songs, and the song can be listened to on its own without having to be a part of the story of Nora. But every single one of them comes at a very specific emotional moment for the character. So in the original script, I had written out very bad lyrics, but that detailed sort of what I wanted for her in those moments. And then we crafted something that actually worked from there.
Kudos to Noah.
He's amazing.
Now, the music videos, they represent certain points of her life, but as a first-time filmmaker yourself, this is already a difficult project. But to direct videos that are far different from each other, can you actually tell us how you navigated those challenges?
Yeah, well, even when I wrote the script, I had this brilliant idea that somebody else would come in and direct the music videos because as a first-time, filmmaker who had never done any blue screen or animation or any of these things, I was like, no, I have sort of really vague concepts for what they could be, but I want somebody else's art to come in. And so we shot the principal photography, the basic story first, and then came back to the music videos after. And over the sort of 6 months where I was editing the main part of the film and getting ready to shoot the music videos, I suddenly realized they really did have to come from a familiar perspective, which had to be mine. And there was absolutely a little bit of selfishness to it, realizing that I had an idea for these things that I wanted to see if I could bring to life. And really what ended up happening in the sort of creation of them was I took moments in my life and artistic things that I had, witnessed along the way that had had an unknown impact on my sense of myself as a woman. So our first video is animated, and it has a vague sort of an Archie the comic book, reference, where I remember reading those in the grocery store line, and Betty and Veronica would be fighting over the boy, and I'd be like, what are we? Oh, I guess that's what's expected of us is to try to fight over the boy, but instead taking that concept, turning it on its head, and making it about someone finding themselves and finding their crew and finding their band. And then turning myself into a mannequin to talk about the pressures of conforming to a female aesthetic. That one cracks me up. And then, of course, the 1950s housewife smashing the world that's been pre-prescribed to her. So all of them had definitely come from things that had deeply affected me, and I got to really flip them.
Did you have influences to create these images for these music videos?
Oh yeah, well I was child of the 80s and 90s, and although we didn't have cable TV at home, if I went over to my friend's house, MTV is on right away.
Hmm.
So one of the videos is literally a one-to-one with a flip of wait, but who is your romantic partner, right? Of those things that we would sit and watch and feel these huge emotional things for. So although every single one of them sort of came from a different part of my life, knowing that the main part of the film was going to be very sort of doc style, hyper real, as beautiful as I could make it with the limited resources that you have on a small indie, but that I was going to get to really go crazy on the music videos. Turned out pretty fun.
You did it. And not to forget, they always say never to work with, animals and children, but the child in this film is so adorable.
Thank you. That's my actual daughter in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Sophie is my daughter, and um, it was an amazing thing to be able to bring her on set. Many of the conversations that happened in the movie are takes on things that she had said to me, like these insane, gorgeous observations that only a child would have. Sort of just witnessing things for the first time. One of my favorite things about motherhood is watching the whole world start over again. And so I would write down these ridiculous conversations we'd have where she'd call me out on my very own nonsense. And so then when I asked her to play it initially, she said, "Oh no, absolutely not." And I was like, "Okay, no problem. I'm never going to push my kid into, my dream." But a couple of days later, I was like, "Hey, I'm just curious, why don't you want to be in mommy's movie? It's no problem, no pressure." And she said, "Well, I don't want everybody looking at me." And so I explained to her that on film, it wasn't quite the same. Like, yes, people would get to see her performance later, but that we could do it again and it didn't have to be perfect every time. And she got really excited. And so I was able to bring her on. And my youngest is actually the little girl running through the storybook video too. So whole family affair.
I'm pretty sure in Hollywood somewhere they also mentioned not to work with family, but you managed to get work this out. So
Yeah, but also work with the people you love. That's definitely one of our pre-prescribed notions too, right? So
that is so true. Well, Anna, I have to leave, but let me leave with one more thought because this film Nora almost nearly mirrors your own life. So are you back? I want to say into acting and on the road again doing projects. Are you still a family person?
well, I think you can be both. I think that's what I'm trying to prove here. I don't think you have to pick one or the other. I'm here right now at Cinequest. My family will come down over the weekend for the big premiere, but I get to be here and meet my fellow filmmakers and, talk to the amazing audiences that are coming out to see the films. So I'm pretty lucky that I've been able to find the balance of both things and yet walk the red carpets with my kids. It's pretty great.
Well said, Anna. Enjoy Cinequest this week, and it's a terrific film. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me.